Good afternoon. Welcome to the Experienced Leader webinar. My name is Steve Sloan, the head of programs at Claw Social Leadership, joined by my colleague Raindolph. I'm also joined by Ellie, who's an alumni of the Experienced Leader program, who's going to be sharing a bit more about her experience and what she got out of the program, a little bit more detail in a couple of minutes. The agenda for the next 10-15 minutes is the following. So I'm going to run you through our beliefs, how we think about leadership here at Claw Social Leadership. I'm going to share with you the details about the Experienced Leader program. We're going to hear from Ellie about her experience, and then I'm going to share with you some information about some other offers that we have available to leaders at the moment. So our beliefs here at Claw Social Leadership, we truly believe that leadership development is a lifelong journey. It's like any other skill, it can take a lifetime to master, and leadership is no different. So we welcome lots of different people onto our programs, but we always say that you don't come onto the program and then finish and tick box, you're done. We really do encourage continued development with your leadership and continued development with us, with another provider, with your colleagues, with your peers that you've met on the program as well. It's something we really encourage. Second, and most importantly, we believe that everyone is a leader. A lot of leadership development programs previously and historically tend to kind of focus and target people in elevated positions, organizations that have more hierarchical structures and attitudes to leadership, kind of seeing leadership as something that's reserved for people with important titles, of a lot of seniority. And we really believe in democratizing leadership. So viewing every single person in an organization as a leader who has leadership potential. Thirdly, we believe that good leadership is essential for social change. There are a lot of different challenges confronting the world, the country and communities and cities all over the UK. Without good leadership, it's going to be very difficult for us to confront some of the key challenges that are confronting our society and the world. And lastly, really important piece in our programs is that leaders grow leaders. We have an excellent suite of program facilitators that support us in delivering our programs, but the real magic is learning from those around you. So having 25 to 30 other leaders who are working in a similar environment to you is a really important resource while you're on the program, so you can learn from each other, but also to take things forward with each other and continue networking years ahead. When we have programs with participants who are still in contact 5 years after their program had finished, and they're still meeting regularly and continuing that leadership development and really viewing it as a lifelong journey. So those are our 4 key beliefs here at Claw Social Leadership, and a lot of our work really is formed around these 4 beliefs here. So the Experienced Leader program is an 8-month program, which is starting in September and running through to May 2026. The program itself is kind of bookended by a welcome session and a celebration session. The welcome session is online. The celebration session is a hybrid event, so that will take place in person, and there is an option for people to join online as well. You'll be kind of given access to social leadership learning modules while you're on the program as well. So there'll be key bits of reading, listening, watching videos, and doing reflective activities on our different leadership capabilities throughout the program. And this will be supported by peer learning circles, which is a space that will tackle each of the learning modules. And that really just is a space to reflect and build upon your learning as a group and really consolidate with your facilitator. There's also the opportunity to get involved with 360 feedback. So this is an excellent component where you can ask for feedback from your colleagues, your line managers, your board, stakeholders that you work with. You can submit their details to us, and they'll be sent a survey where they can give you feedback, and this will be then compiled into a report which is shared with you, and then is supported by a workshop, which is led by your program facilitator to help support you in kind of actioning and reflecting on some of the feedback that you've received as well. And this can feed into your leadership development plan, which is a plan which you'll create at the start of the program, where you'll list kind of 2 to 3 key goals that you want to achieve whilst you're on the program, and also after the program as well. We view this very much as a dynamic document that can change whilst you're on the program with us. We then have an in-person residential, which takes place across 2 days and 1 night in Leamington Spa, where we have the residential there. This is led by your program facilitator, and there'll also be input from one of our facilitators who specializes in Lumina Spark, which is a psychometric profiling tool, which is quite different from your usual psychometric profiling tools, and it doesn't put you into a box. It views you very much as an individual who can fit into lots of different areas and kind of cover lots of different traits. And is commonly cited as one of the most popular parts of our program. This is supported by coaching, so you'll have 3 one-hour coaching sessions with one of our professional coaches who are very experienced in working with social leaders across the sector on our programs over many years. You'll also have action learning sets. So you can, if you haven't heard of action learning before, you can view them as group coaching sessions in small groups of around 6 people, facilitated by a action learning set facilitator. You have 4 of these sessions and they run 3 hours each. So it is an excellent kind of time to be together in a small group to kind of work through very complex challenges together. And again, really popular component of the program. And we're really excited to say that the Experienced Leader program has been accredited by the Institute of Leadership. So if you complete the Experienced Leader program, you'll receive some post-nominals, which is the MIOL, which is the membership grade of the Institute of Leadership. So once you complete the program, you can have some letters after your name. In terms of commitment, we really do say you get out of the program what you put in. We're very understanding that there are lots of different pressures coming, all different kinds of directions for leaders, especially experienced leaders. So very understanding, you know, if you want to put in varying levels of commitment to the program, we understand that. But generally, time commitment for the entire program is around 9 days. There's a lot of self-guided learning, like I mentioned, with the online learning modules. I mentioned the action learning sessions, which are 3 hours every month. There's 3 hours of coaching throughout the program as well. This is quite different compared to all of the other components of the program in that you can schedule these when you'd like to. So you can fit this into your schedule whenever you have time. And then generally there's at least an hour and a half a month of online learning sessions throughout the program. So those are times that will be on Zoom with your cohort and your program facilitator together. In terms of program deadlines, we have the early bird application open at the moment. This means you get a reduced fee when you apply for the program. There's a reduction of £600, and this is available until Monday, the 30th of June. And then the full application deadline is on Wednesday, the 30th of July. We'll be moderating applications on a rolling basis. So once you apply, you can expect to hear from us fairly quickly about your application. Now I'm going to pass over to Ellie. Ellie was a participant on our Experienced Leader program, and Ellie's going to share some thoughts about how she found the program and what she got out of it. Ellie, thanks for joining us. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. As Steve said, I was on the Experienced Leader program. I started just under 2 years ago. So I was on it from September 2023 to summer 2024. Just before I talk about the program specifically, just a little bit about my background. I'm the CEO of a small grassroots charity in Ealing called the Young Ealing Foundation. We are an organisation who deliver support to other grassroots organisations in order to kind of provide more and better services for children, young people and families in the London Borough of Ealing. We do this in a number of ways. We run sort of training, events, networks. We offer specialist one-to-one support in terms of things like business development, fundraising, marketing, communications. We foster cross-sector partnerships and kind of support the development of collaboration, and kind of deliver larger projects in partnership with our members in order to kind of attract bigger ticket funding and longer term funding into the borough for children and young people's services. And that's all delivered with a team of 6. So leadership and kind of how staff are supported and developed is a really important component to the kind of success of what we do. So I actually went on the Experienced Leader program at the same time that one of my colleagues attended the Emerging Leader program. It was really interesting for us to kind of go through the process alongside one another. But I think in terms of how the Experienced Leader program was good for me, it was kind of 2 elements that really stood out. So one was around giving me as a leader some really good practical tools for reflection. And so some of those, or those have, some of the things that Steve's already mentioned. So the Luminous Spark profile was something that was really interesting for us. As a team, we'd gone through kind of various psychometric testing profiles and talked about it already. So it wasn't a completely alien concept to me, but we found that Luminous Spark was a particularly good lens through which to view the kind of the way we work together as a team, and in the social sector in which we work, it felt quite apt. It felt particularly well suited to the kind of work we're doing. And it was a really interesting process to go through as kind of an individual. And also I had the benefit of being able to compare notes with my colleague who was on the Emerging Leader program, which also includes it. And as a result of that, we have actually run Luminous Spark sessions for our whole team, and have found it really useful for kind of opening dialogue about how we work together and how we ensure we're sort of supportive in a team. And I think, in a small team where everybody's pitching in to do everything in different ways, it's really important to be able to have an open line of communication. So that was brilliant. And also some of the other tools for reflection, I think coaching is an incredible tool for self-reflection, and I think a really important part of any leader's journey. I think particularly if you're a small charity leader, it can be really lonely at the top. It can be a really isolating role. You're carrying a lot of different burdens. The charity sector is becoming more and more challenging, facing tougher competition for funding, tougher competition in recruitment and retaining staff, and having an opportunity to have someone who you can do that reflection with, whose objective is just incredibly valuable and important. And I think the 360 feedback was particularly helpful as a tool for kind of reflection, because as in previously we've done 360 feedback at our organisation, but it tends to be a sort of, what do you think this person does well, what do you think they could do better? And it doesn't provide the breadth of feedback that this did, because it comes from a number of different stakeholders, not just your staff. It comes from direct reports, comes from other staff within the organisation, from trustees, but also from external stakeholders. So I had feedback from funders and from our members, which is a really interesting way to, because the way we're seen externally is so important for our kind of successful leadership as well. So it really opened up I guess, an opportunity to rethink how we do 360 feedback on an ongoing basis, to make sure that it is really kind of meaningful and really can shape the development of individuals, but also, you know, contribute to the organisational sort of goals in terms of sustainability and kind of the way external, you know, stakeholders, funders, people like that see us. And I suppose alongside the tools for reflection, what it does is it creates the space for reflection. And I think that's the second really important thing. There's so much to do and less resource than ever with which to do it in the charity sector. And again, as a small charity leader, that's something I think was really clear from talking to other people in similar situations on the course, and just having that time blocked out in your diary, particularly, you know, being at the residential, and just, you know, committing to having 2 days in which you are focused on your own reflection and your own personal development, and just taking a moment to stop and take a step back and see kind of the bigger picture of where you're going is so helpful in kind of, in, you know, just kind of reminding you how important it is to be able to take that objective view every now and again, and to stop and reflect and to think about, are you still moving forward in the right way? And I think creating that space, as I say, part of the residential, but also in the ongoing action learning sets, peer learning circles, you know, the process by which you come together, 5 or 6 of you, to discuss particular you know, issues or challenges you might be facing at work, and using a kind of group coaching style to reflect on those issues is helpful. But it's just having those 2 hours in the calendar where you close all the other tabs physically and mentally and just focus on reflection. Just, you see how powerful and how important it is, and it's a really good reminder, and because you keep coming back to it throughout the course, it reminds you how important it is, which means that we've embedded certain things within our working practice now. We've overhauled our kind of line management processes, including things like the 360, but also, you know, embedding monthly action learning sets in the workplace where we talk about workplace challenges. And, you know, sometimes we use a kind of a pure action learning set approach, and sometimes we use a model that we learn through the Lumina Spark profile. But the point is, we've embedded both in terms of my own self-reflection and how I want to develop and continue to be seen as a leader, but also from an organizational perspective, it's given everyone much more clarity about what's our purpose, what's our long-term aim, what's our strategy, and how are we all working together to move towards that, and how do we stop and pause and just check that we're still doing that regularly. And I think that's been transformational for the organization. So and I did not know that you got letters after your name, so that's another box ticked, which is fantastic. But, you know, in all seriousness, I think it's been incredibly important for kind of, you know, just recognizing how important that time for reflection and development is.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing, Ellie. Really helpful insights, and I'm sure for everybody listening, really useful to hear about them as well. So thank you so much for sharing. So nearly there with the webinar. As far as criteria for anyone thinking about applying for the program, we really do aim the programs at individuals who are working in the social purpose space. That can include charities, social enterprises, CICs, not-for-profit organizations. If you feel like your organization type hasn't been captured there, you can get in touch with us via email or phone, and I'm happy to have a chat with you if you feel like your organization might be slightly outside of that. And kind of generally, it's really important that you have an interest in using your leadership skills and your knowledge to help make the world, your organization, a better place. So that's really key for us. And we're really, really excited to say that for this program, we've got a fully funded bursary available for individuals from Black or racially minoritized backgrounds, from small or medium-sized organizations. So that's organizations with an annual income of less than £1 million. So on the application form, when you're applying, This will just be an opt-in, opt-out question. So there's no separate application you need to complete. It's all in the same application, which can be found on our website. Again, any questions about your criteria or eligibility for the program, just get in touch with us. We'd be happy to chat. Some of our other offers that we have available, we have our Management Fundamentals program, which is our kind of management-focused program, which is starting on the 29th of September at £425. And then our Discover program as well, which is starting on the 10th of November at £70. Both of these programs as well are accredited. So similarly, you'll have access to a certificate from the Institute of Leadership afterwards. You'll also have post-nominals for these programs as well. You also have access to the Institute of Leadership's online learning platform as well, which really has a wealth of resources, information, webinars, mentoring, coaching as well. So excellent opportunity to have that accredited program. And then lastly, we have our Find a Coach service, which is on our website. You can basically find any coach that is in our pool of coaches, book in some time with them, and connect with them directly. So those are our kind of 3 other offers that we just wanted to make you aware of today. That's it from us. Thank you very much for your attention during the webinar. I hope it's been useful to find out some information about the Experienced Leader Program. Any questions that you have about the program or any of the others I mentioned, please get in touch with us via phone or email. We look forward to potentially connecting with you in the future. Thank you very much.